All right, good morning, everybody. So obviously, most of you probably already know this, but Trump won with a landslide, which obviously is not a surprise. Now let's talk about what's going to go on, because you've seen me make predictions, and I talked to you guys about what's going on with Pennsylvania and how the Pennsylvania situation that took place as elections were first starting, or the pre-voting, that the Democrat Party was trying to sneak in votes illegally and got caught, and why this was so important. So I told you about the case against the organization known as Jehovah's Witnesses. Their actual headquarters, their financial headquarters, is in Pennsylvania. So not the Bethel building. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about their financial headquarters. All their real estate, all their real money is in Pennsylvania. So obviously, there's a huge problem with that, because what's going on in Pennsylvania? Okay, so this is my opinion about what's going on, okay? So grand jury investigation, new light, surprise, guys. So Jehovah's Witnesses are being investigated on a grand jury investigation. The grand jury investigation is something that I told you guys that if you get the opportunity to work with, you should. Now, what I'm saying is not coming from anybody I worked with on this. This is my opinion, and I want to be very clear. It's my opinion. I think that there's been problems about charging these people with the DA because there's a lot of Dem support there. With everything going on the way it has, and with the exposure of P. Diddy, people are terrified on the Democrat side, okay? So the Dems that are associated with the pedophilia movement are terrified about what's going on, because with Diddy going down, okay, that means he's actively being investigated. There are hundreds of celebrities who are being accused of being involved with or were victims of Diddy. Now, how many of those people were Jehovah's Witnesses? See, that's something that's really important, guys, that you need to understand is Diddy went down, Diddy's not getting out, and there's no way he's going to get out. And we know that the Republican Party has specifically said that they're going to protect Diddy and not let him get Epstein. And on top of that, I know you guys don't watch, and so I'm going to give you what you don't watch because you don't have time, and that's fine. But Jim Jordan talked about this. There is a belief system, all right, in the intelligence community, like with the Senate, with the Republicans. I'm not talking about the feds, the CIA. I'm talking about us, like the people we elect. They are saying that I'm sorry, it wasn't Jim Jordan that said this, but I'm saying Jim Jordan's team was part of the investigation. What they're saying had happened is that Epstein was killed with the assistance of our government and another government agency. That government agency is an ally to the United States. Now, they did not say what government it is, and they said that they would not say it because it could damage our relationships. Now, you guys know that my grandfather worked for the Pentagon. So what I'm going to tell you, he did not tell me. I just want to make that very clear. And I'm not saying anything legally that I'm not supposed to know. I'm giving you my opinion. That country is England. Now, with that being said, I know from other people that I work with, there is a huge connection between the organization known as Watchtower in England, the royal family. So the royal family of Britain is associated and has a connection to Watchtower. Now, I know this to be a fact. I have done the research. I've seen this. I know people who've been involved in this. I've talked to children who were victimized and were associated and were victimized by people that were high-ranking English officials, and those same people were transported to Deer Island and other things that are associated with the English royal family. Now, am I accusing all the English royal families being bad people? I think they are, but I'm not saying that. I can't prove that that's the case. But we know for a fact that one of those princes was sleeping with a 15-year-old girl with Epstein. We're positive about this. This has come out, that we know this. Now, we also know another prince has been hanging out with Diddy. So we also know that Diddy has a huge lineup of black celebrities, right? All our Oprahs and all our, those people. I'm not a huge fan of Hollywood, and I don't really care about these people. I don't listen to rap music. I don't give a shit about R&B. So Brianna and all these other people, and whoever they are, what I'm getting at is there's a huge collection of African American celebrities that were under control of Diddy. A huge portion of them are Jehovah Witnesses or had some association with Jehovah Witnesses in some form or manner, especially in the rap community. If that is the case, okay, that means that the investigation with Diddy can get linked to the Pennsylvania. If the Pennsylvania case of Jehovah Witnesses is, about child molestation and selling of children and trafficking, Diddy's trafficking children, he's got caught and he's already being prosecuted. That means that by law, they can interact and they can form that network, and then they can make their way towards Watchtower. So, and for those of you guys who don't really understand what you're looking at here, this is Pennsylvania. I can see that the kind of reddish color means they're going more towards the red, but they're not completely red. And then obviously if it's blue, it's completely blue. So you can see that this state, Pennsylvania, went red. So that means now, so we have the Senate, we have the House, and we have the presidential election. Okay, we won. So Republicans have won all three of these. So we'll just go over it again. So the U.S. Senate results, we now have 52 majority. U.S. House results, 198. We have the majority. Governor results, we're now 27. So we have won all across the board. So that means, and I just want you guys to understand of how this is, and I know this is really confusing, and I'm going to explain this to you guys. So now that Pennsylvania is red, that means the DA and everything else is going to be under a scrutiny of the Republican Party and no longer the Democrat Party. So the Democrat Party is the party that is pushing the transgender thing. It's wanting the government to have access to children. It wants to make it so that parents who don't transition their kids, that's considered abuse. This is the same group of people that are also hiding the fact that the people who are involved in the transgender movement, many of them are child molesters, are known child molesters. Their victims have come out and they're not being prosecuted by the DA. So the attorney generals are not prosecuting them, and they're dropping their cases and allowing them to get out without criminal activity being charged against them. Okay? When you see Jim Jordan, and I know a lot of people don't understand, like for example, he discovered the Russia hoax was bullshit. He discovered that the Clintons were the ones that made it up. And then people are always wondering, why is the Senate seeing this? They find all this information, and why are they not doing anything? That's not how it works. The committee that he is over is an investigative committee that has no actual ability to charge you for anything. So they find out all this stuff, and then they can give recommendations to the government to act on it. Now, under the current administration, a lot of the things they've found, they don't act on it. They're not doing anything. They don't have the ability to force it through the Senate, and so nothing is done. Donald Trump is in charge now. They have both the Senate and the House now. That is not the case. So now when recommendations are done by the committee, instead of it being pushed to the side, ignored, something can be done with it. This is what I was talking about. This is what I meant when I said when Pennsylvania goes red and why it was so important. It was the number one and most important state in this election that we got Pennsylvania for us in the Jehovah Witness community. And I'm not talking about for the state itself, because if the Jehovah Witnesses go down for the child molestation problem they have and their leaders are going to be arrested and all that kind of crap, yeah, it's going to make the headlines. It's going to be great. But it's not going to affect the United States that much. Let's just be honest. Jehovah Witnesses aren't big enough. There's 1 million of them. They're a real little teeny little church in this country. They're not really that important. They're not really that powerful. When it comes to the human trafficking thing, they're not even on the top 10 list. I know some people say that. I know I talk about how much power and money and influence they have, but we're talking about government bribes and things of that nature to protect themselves. But overall, in the big picture, they're nothing. your cartels are by far more powerful than Watchtower is, and they have way more influence. Now, no government agency, my grandfather, nobody told me this. This is not giving you inside information or anything of that nature. I want to be very clear. This is an idea and a hypothesis I have, and this is what I think is going to happen. When you have celebrities like Cher coming out here who are telling you they're going to leave the country because of Donald Trump, I highly speculate, and this is a speculation, that they are probably involved with the Diddy stuff, and that's why they're wanting to leave the country. I speculate they're going to go to England, because I speculate, and I'm saying I speculate, that England is the country that murdered Epstein, and I think that the royal families are protecting their connection to the underground market of human trafficking, and I think that it's going to get exposed, and I think that these people know that if they go there, that obviously in order to protect themselves, the English government is going to not allow the United States to pull them back. So any and all celebrities that leave this country right now, that go on vacation in Europe, are associated with the P. Diddy stuff and are child molesters, in my opinion, and I want nothing to do with them. Pure speculation. So, like I said, what's going to happen now is, obviously now that the Dems don't have control, the DAs can start charging these people. You're going to see investigations of criminal aspects of human trafficking. You're going to see like the things going on in Florida, where Florida's busting Disney. You're going to see that shit all over the place now. I don't even know how to say this. I guess the cat is out of the bag. I really don't know the correct analogy to use for this, but basically the United States population has woken up, and the sleeping dragon is awake, and it is going to devour child molesters. It is going to absolutely put them in their place. All right, guys, so I just want to say something, and this is going to be to witnesses that think that Donald Trump is like a tyrant and that he works for the empire and all this other nonsense. I just want to point something out to you guys. We already had him as a president, and he did more for peace than any other president we have had in my lifetime. I just want to point that out. And then people are saying that he's a total dictator and that this red wave of slavery is going to come off and they're going to be arresting people left and right. Everything that they've said from the media that Trump's going to do, the Democrats are already doing. I mean, think about the things they've done to Trump. They've accused him of working for Russia, which they did, what Hillary Clinton did. They've tried to arrest his kids. They made false accusations about his children, tried to have them arrested. They have made court cases and changed laws to persecute him and charge him for things that they can't, that don't even fall in the statutes of limitations. They've had a woman on stage that admitted that she lied, and they awarded her some $400 million or $30 million. They've tried to kill him 3 times now. We have a government agency that's claiming that some high school student who had multiple phones, who for some reason shot with federal agents for the CIA, or not federal, but CIA agents and agencies, was connected to them, who was someone who was on BlackRock videos, is so sophisticated that the U.S. intelligence can't crack his phones. And we're supposed to believe this. Now, this is for you guys, and you know who you are who think this stuff. The next 4 years go by, I want you to think about what the people told you he's going to do and what a monster he is, and then judge him by the actions of what we see our country do over the next 4 years. And if you were listening to somebody or you were watching somebody who was saying that this is going to happen and this is going to be like the end of the United States and that democracy is going to be over, and it doesn't happen, which it won't, remember, Watchtower lied to you. Those people you listen to lied to you. Why are you listening to them? That's it. That's all I got to say.